Hey guys, RCT3 Imaginary here, and welcome back to another episode of Prehistoric Kingdom. Now I know that I said my last video would be my last video until the new game came out in full. But like the greatest lie in music education, one last time does not mean one last time. Because I realized two things. One, that I've only really been playing around with the demo just to showcase what it could do, and haven't really played with it to be creative or really show off what the game can do. Despite it being a demo, there's still a lot of potential within the game that I'd like to showcase in the meantime and help hone in my skills with this game. And two, I also found out that in a patch that the developers are coming out with, there will be 4 new dinos and new things to play. So I figured, why not just start making a new park and really make something special with it and see what comes out of it, I guess. So without further ado, this is the first episode of a new park that I am building. Okay, so as you can see, I'm doing a little bit of terrain forming off of the island, and what this is going to serve as is the landing pad for the helicopters, quotation, landing pad, because there is an official park entrance for this game yet. So what I'm starting with is I'm going to create my own from scratch just for fun so that this park has some kind of entrance at least. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm kind of making a little offset of the island so that it doesn't waste too much space on the main island itself. Okay, so we're going to start off with some paths here to create the landing spot. We're just going to scope out and see what we can do with that. I think we're going to start with stone for the outer part of the path. Have a little small landing zone here. Kind of seeing what the options are within the game so I can figure out how I want to decorate this. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going to rotate each of these lamps and have them placed throughout so that there's a nice little light effect, so when the helicopter comes down that they can kind of see where they're landing, hopefully. If not, I feel bad for the passengers on board. It's going to be a rough landing. But here we are making sure that details for this helipad are well into play. Cool, so we've placed those lights on the sides. Now what I'd like to do is surround this path with rocks so that it really helps to highlight the pathway on this. Now, what I really love about the placeable scenery in this is that there's a lot of different ways that you can move it, and therefore it creates a lot of different elements that you can get from one single item. This is me just trying to figure out how to use it at this point, because I only experimented a little bit in the exhibit building. Here you can see that I'm working with the different elements to figure out exactly how I want these rocks to look and where I want it to be placed. As you can see, I don't want something too high, but something to give it a nice border all the way around. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go through and place each one of these singly and get it just to my liking. I wonder if there's an easier way to do this. Okay, so when I place this next one here, as you can see, it is now exactly where I placed the last one, and I'm not sure how that happens exactly. But now we're going to go ahead and place some smaller rocks around the perimeter, just to give it a little bit more depth, and let's try hitting save next coordinates to see if we can get it the same way all the way around, or if that will... okay, so that doesn't exactly allow for that. Okay, so if you guys know of a way to get placed items to go in the same direction, let me know. So that in the future when I'm making designs, I don't have to keep going back through every single item to get it to look exactly the same. But as you can see, these smaller rocks do add a little bit more depth to the helipad. Okay, so now what we're going to do in this section here is we're going to add a larger column of rock to kind of create a small tunnel in the entryway. Okay, so that one's saved, but I have no idea why. So it seems to be kind of random to me how this actually works, but hopefully I'll figure it out. Yeah, because that one is exactly what I did for the last one, which is great when you're trying to get some symmetry. Okay, so let's give this a look and see how we can line up things better. Looks pretty cool so far. Put a path through it. But I think we need to make it a little longer first. And it also doesn't look very symmetrical either. So let's try putting a path through it, seeing what we can get. Ah, yeah, so I am definitely going to have to realign those to make sure that the poor people coming off of the helicopter don't have to cram their way through a tiny walkway and risk running into the rocks. So let's change this up a bit. What I'm going to need to do is to rotate these rocks so that they're more flush with the angles of the path. Rotate tool and figure out which one I need to do to get it to rotate. There we go. Okay. So we just need to get that a little bit more flush, and then I think it'll be good. Nope, wrong way. Oh, so it's higher. Cool. Didn't know that. So now we just need to get it to move to the right so it's against the path. Great. Awesome. Okay, now we just need to do this to the other one. Oh, I clicked on the wrong rock. Whoops, my bad. Ah, sorry, I did the same thing. So I think I'm accidentally clicking on the red one, which is not the one I want. So let's try the blue one. Yay, there we go. And now we get that flush to the path as well. I think what we need to do is move that other rock instead. That way we can keep the width of the path the same. There we go. I'm not really bothered that there's that two little rocks at the entrance because I actually think that's quite nice. So now we need to raise that up a bit. Yep, to match it. There we go. Okay, so symmetry is good. Let's get a different angle to make sure we really got that clicked in. Great. And what I'd like to try and do is to place some lights inside so it's not so dark, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so I think the previous settings for each placement of rock has to do with saving the next coordinates. So that's just something I'll have to keep in mind for the future. But for now, I'm just placing these rocks to have a little bit more depth at the beginning of the entrance of the cave. So it's not just so put together in a bad way, if you know what I mean. Actually, no, that was really vague. I don't want it to look like a cookie cutter gingerbread house, since it is around Christmas kind of look. Like I would like there to be some textures at the beginning of this, so it's a little bit more multi-dimensional. So I'm just manipulating these rocks a little bit more so that there's just something there to help with this entrance. No, we don't want to move it that way. We want that tool. You're at 450 right now, by the way. I mean 1450. Okay, So we've got that set up pretty nicely, and let's just add these rocks in at the base for a little bit more texture. That turns out pretty nicely, actually. Cool. Let's add one there just in case. Maybe one on the other side. Do I need it? Nah, I think I'll be okay. Okay, so let's add some other elements. My question is, will we be able to fit lamps in here nicely? Oh, and as you can see, I need to place the utilities to get this to work. So let's place these lights and then we'll go back and try it. Okay, so that doesn't exactly fit there. I think what we're doing is just going to get rid of that because that looks kind of out of place. Cool. I don't know where the other one is. But let's get rid of this rock up here too, because that's a bit randomly placed. For now we'll just leave it. And what we're going to do is going to place some plants around the helipad to give it a real tropical feel and a grand entrance to the park. Kind of like a Jurassic Park feel in the original movie when they were landing by the waterfall. We can't do a waterfall in here, but we're going to try and mimic that lush vegetation because nothing screams I'm going to a dinosaur park like lush tropical vegetation. So we're going to go ahead and put that around. You can see it looks really nice. Now what we're going to try and do is get rid of some of this path in the middle to create a actual landing spot. But as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit with this. We're going to try selective. No, still selects the two. I'm just trying to get rid of 2 path pieces, not a whole bunch. Let's try and just place something over top of it. Great. That works beautifully. But I think the brown would look better. Yep. That screams landing zone to me. Now we have a place for our helicopter to land. Awesome. And this is me just kind of struggling to right-click out of this so I can build other things. But that's another story. So look, see what else we can need. Let's use some smaller bushes. Yeah, let's put those all the way around. I think the key to really making something look tropical is having a intense amount of that's funny because the intensity is all the way up, but it really drives home the point. An intense amount of vegetation to really, I don't want to say hide things, but just kind of overwhelm the senses with the green plants, because I think that is what will give the best presentation and the best prehistoric sense, maybe. I'm not sure if that's the right word or explanation, but we're going to go with it. Right, so we're just going to keep putting these around until we get to the other side. You can see it is creating a nice green border around the rocks also, which is cool. Very cute. And now let's add some bigger ferns. Nice. Really help the perimeter be established here. Yeah, that's looking very cool. Cannot wait to see what other kinds of plants will be released in either this upcoming patch or the full game. Also, I should say that the rock entrance is somewhat inspired by Jurassic Park, having that big gate open. Since that's not a possibility in this game, this is a slight homage to that little element in the original movie. So adding a few more plants to really drive home that point. Looks cool. Nice. Looks great. I think what I may do is add a few more palm trees on the paths at this gate / stone entrance. Yeah, looks good. A little stormy, but you know, the landing pad looks pretty good. I think it's a great start. So now what I think I want to do is add a roof to this gate. So that's more like a cave, but still an entrance. So we're going to make this, wrong one. Sorry guys, my bad. We're going to make it nice and long. That might be a bit overkill, but we're going to edit it down. So let's move this back. And then up. Oh yeah, that is definitely overkill. So we are going to need to trim down a lot of this. Oh my gosh, sorry, I just made it worse. Okay, that's a little better. All right, cool. Let's make sure the thickness isn't too much either once we get this moved. Okay, we're gonna right click out of that so we can see. Yeah, these trees are really not helping the case here, but it looks like it's okay. And also, we don't want that there because that's where the helicopter is supposed to go. Can't land a helicopter on a rock. I mean, you could if you're a very skilled pilot, but we don't want that in the park. So, oh, nice. As you can see, it provides a very cool texture to this entranceway. Yeah, I like the way that turned out. So this is the beginning of a new park, and I guess I should name this park. We'll figure that out in a bit, or maybe in a few episodes. But this is definitely the start of a new park. And I'm just kind of zooming out to see what we have to work with. And I'm going to add some utilities in the back part of the island, so it's kind of out of the way. No one really cares. No one can really see it. So I think it's the perfect spot to place things. Good, so we just placed some windmills, as you can see, clearly. Sorry, I zoned out for a second while I was doing that. It's been a long day. Just got off of a plane, visiting the family for the holidays. And now we're working on placing some water pumps. We gotta find a good place where those will fit in. Oh, I think, there we go. Got one. Awesome. Cool. Gonna place another one. And why not? Third time's a charm, and I think that should definitely take care of our water needs. I think two's enough. We'll just leave it at that. If we need more, we'll go back and place it. For now, we need to figure out what to do with the island itself. Looks like we can do several large exhibits. Oh, that's our entrance. Wow, that's tiny. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create kind of a land bridge from this island here. And now we're just going to cave in the beach so that it creates more water around this area. I guess I made it bigger than I needed it to be. And now we're just going to put this right back into the ocean or Gulf or sea, depending. I don't actually really know where this island is, but it's a body of water, so we're going to put it back into the water and create this nice little peninsula effect so you can really feel like you're landing off coast instead of right in the middle of the island. Now what we do is we're going to smooth this in so it doesn't look weird and misshapen, and that it looks like a little bit more of a natural extension of the island. Alright, so there you have it. The first addition to the park, the entrance pad, or entranceway / helipad. So what we're going to do is extend out the path and have it lead to the animal breeding center, kind of like how Jurassic Park welcomes you to the Welcome Center. We're going to have something similar like that going to there. We also need to get rid of that rock, because that's a little bit in the way. Alright, try that again. Alright, good. Got that clicked on. So it's just a pathway. I think it's nice, but you guys are like, it's just a path. But it's going to lead to great things, guys. And I'm seeing that I cannot, that's disappointing, select individual paths to be deleted. I guess it only deletes the amount of paths that you've placed at once. So it might be cool in the future if individual path tiles could be deleted, regardless of how you place them. Because I originally made that path a little bit too big, and now I need to go back and make something a little bit smaller, because I don't want to have to do that much entry scenery before we get to the breeding center. And we're going to do a little bit of an extension, because I'm going to do some scenery going all the way up. Awesome. And now, hopefully, I'll be able to delete the middle two. Okay, great. So at least I can do that. Awesome. Well, we'll fill that in, but it's fine. We're going to have this go out a little bit more. Cool. That looks like an entryway. Now let's add in hatchery, I think. I don't actually know the official name of this, nor did I actually just check this out, but we're just going to call it the hatchery. So right now I'm going to try and center this the best I can in the pathway. We're just going to wait for this to be built. It's taking a little bit of time. There we go. Okay, so now that's done. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to go into that. We're not doing any dinosaurs today. Don't get excited. Now we're going to build a path around this. I think now what we're going to do is change up the stone a little bit. Right, you can't place it right on buildings. So now what I'm doing is lowering the terrain behind the hatchery so that we can get a nice lake placed. And even though there's no water painting tools yet available, I did figure out that if you lower the terrain enough, you can still get some water because it'll be below sea level. And then you have a little bit more to work with building in general of lakes and streams and that kind of texture that way. But as you can see, the smoothing I did was a little too intense, so we're going to need to make this a little bit deeper. We're going to reduce the intensity and smooth this out. And there you have it. You have a nice little lake. And what I'm planning on doing is surrounding the lake and the hatchery with path. And it looks like the smooth is actually going to help me get the lake all the way up to the back of the hatchery. So it will definitely not be a waste of space, which is awesome. Yeah, that looks great. So this will be like the center point of the park. And now we're going to take some paths, preferably stone. And now we're just going to build around it. We're going to try and... Okay, so we can go up to the side. And as you can see, I was trying to make a bridge to see if that was a possibility, but it's not yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go up the sides of the hatchery. But you can't go that close either. Okay, that'll do. And now we're just going to build around the lake. And what I'll do here is I'll add some nice scenery around to this, not in this episode, but we'll really heavily sceneryfy it. That's a word I just made up, to help create a nice atmosphere to it. So that's not just a lake with some path around it. And I'll probably put something off to the left of the hatchery too, and I'll figure that out. But what we're going to do is demolish some of these trees to make life easier when I do the next episode, if it will let me. Oh right, I have to demolish trees in the terraforming. Okay. Right, completely forgot about that. So that's what we're going to do there. Check to see if there's anything else I need to delete. Yeah, quite a bit. A lot of trees I need to delete, but that's something we can get to in later videos. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you are interested in seeing how this park develops and seeing what I do with Prehistoric Kingdom and the upcoming patch and new additions to the demo, keep subscribed, because I am definitely going to be doing some more work with this game. So until next time, this is RCT3 Imagineer, signing off.